Welcome everyone to Twitter, what it is, how it works, why use it. And, we've already sort of introduced like what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. How I want to show people how you can control, what you see in your Twitter timeline, how you can interact with tweets, specifically how you can tap on a tweet and view comments and all kinds of good things like that. And last but not least, how do you create and post a tweet if you have the desire? So for those of you who are new to Twitter, Twitter is this app that allows you to connect with anyone in the world. It allows you to share, your thoughts with a wide audience, because unlike Facebook and Instagram and many of the other social apps, because that's what Twitter is, it's a social app, you don't have to friend someone first to connect with them. You don't have to ask them, request will you be my friend, that kind of a thing. With Twitter, you just open the app, find tweets, posts that you find interesting, and then you can connect with people. They don't have to be a friend first. Christine, did you have a question?
Yes, actually, it just reminded me of something. Because I got a message yesterday that said so-and-so was following me. But if I don't want people to follow me who I don't know, how do you?
Well, with Twitter, and I'll verify this, but I think, the whole idea is, and Christine, you're talking about being on Twitter?
Yes, because I
Okay,
have it
you
on my
can
phone.
block people. Right. How to block people. I think you can block others from following you. So we'll take a look at that. But the whole idea is, and that's a great question, and I've written it down so we can address that. The whole idea with Twitter is it is a way of connecting with a vast audience. So not only can you share your tweets, your posts with anyone in the world, you can also connect with others. Now, the posts, these tweets are public, but I believe you can work, you can change that. Anyone can read them, anyone can reply. And these tweets that I talk about, that's what the posts are. They're called tweets in the Twitter app. They can be up to 280 individual characters. They can include videos and images, links to websites, you name it. So there are these little bite-sized pieces of information that can be shared. And this is a little different maybe from something like a Facebook post, which might, be a little bit more lengthy. So again, it's just a quick way of sharing information, bite-sized information, only 280 characters, and really accessing, with individuals, connecting with people around the world. So I love this. Why should I use Twitter? I always like to joke, and it's more than knowing what your friends had for lunch, but you could. That's one way of using Twitter. But really, you're going to find that with the Twitter app, it's a great way for getting information, what's happening now. Twitter has become one of the leading sources for what we call newsworthy events. There's this other term, social discovery. We talked about this idea that you can connect with any person or organization in the world who's on Twitter. And the other great thing is, just like so many of the other social media apps, you don't have to tweet anything on Twitter. You can just view. There's no requirement that you have to post anything on Twitter, but you certainly can. And I'll show you how you can follow others that you are interested to see, their posts, to see what's going on. So who's using Twitter? This isn't just for young people. you see a lot of reporting agencies, journalists, people who would like to market their business. They use Twitter because there's this huge audience. There are a lot of social movements that have gotten their legs, so to speak, on Twitter. You may remember, the Egyptian Spring, that became a thing because people were using Twitter to broadcast, to share minute by minute what was happening. And there are other social movements that also are getting on to Twitter. Athletes, politicians, influencers, anyone. And then of course, there's just individuals like you and me. So when I bring up my phone screen, I'll show you how you can start really searching on topics, companies, people that you would like to use. Christine has an interesting, Judith, I'll see if I can show you how to block people on Twitter. Sure. And Christine, I've heard you can look for job postings on Twitter. Yeah, let me see if I can find job postings. I haven't used it for that, but social media is social media. You can find anything.
Someone told me that.
Okay, yeah, well, let's take a look. Let's see. Sure, that's what it's all about. For those folks who might be interested in creating a Twitter account, Twitter runs on mobile devices, desktop devices. You can download the Twitter app, just search, bring up your app, the App Store, go to the Play Store, search for Twitter, the little birdie, the little Tweety bird, and then download the app. It's going to ask you to sign up. It takes like less than a minute to do this. One of the things that it's going to ask you for when you sign up for a Twitter account is something called your Twitter handle. Basically, it's your username. So people just say, well, what's your Twitter handle? You're like, wow, it's your username that you've used to sign up for your account. Try to make it as close to your name as you can. It'll just make it easier for people to search for you if they would like to follow you. And then as part of the sign-in process of creating your account, it's going to ask for either a phone number or an email address, and then it sends you a verification code. And you've seen this with other applications that you've loaded on your mobile device. So you'll enter in the verification code. Yeah, Judith, sorry.
Yeah, I generally don't make my name easily recognizable for a number of reasons. One is I live in an area where if you know enough of my name, you can find me. But the other part is that I really don't want people to know whether I'm male or female, because females are really targeted horribly on Twitter.
And you know what, Judith, this is going to depend on, I would say, are you using Twitter to promote your business? For example, if you're a journalist or a reporter, you're probably going to need to, use, your name. Maybe you can put a business name in there, or if you're simply using this to, get the latest information and follow people that you find interesting or organizations, use something that isn't as readily, recognizable. So it really depends on, I think, what you're going to use Twitter for. But you bring up a good point. So
I generally use my initials and a number.
There you go. And I do think you're right, Judith, that women are what we call trolled more on social media than men. So I tend to be a little bit protective too.
I mean, the other reason, one of the issues that is primary to me is having to do with Israel and Palestine, and people are
very divided.
Horrendous on those.
Yeah. So good point. Absolutely good point. So so when you go and download the app, one of the things that you'll want to do is set up your profile. If you give me just a moment, let me rearrange my screen here because I have my phone screen. Here we go. It's magic. It just flies in like magic. Let me make this a little bit bigger so it's a little easier to see. Here is my Twitter. Let me turn on my annotate here. There we go. So this is my Twitter icon over here, the little Tweety bird. And if I tap on it, it brings me to, yes, that's correct. Okay. It brings me to this main screen over here. And I'll scroll down. Let's go to the very top here. I'm on what's called my Twitter feed, the main screen. Now, if I want to, as part of setting up your app, it will take you through how you can set up your profile. At any time when you're in your Twitter app, you can tap on the upper left corner. I have already customized my profile to put a picture in, but you will just see an outline. It looks like a person, like a cameo almost of an outline of an individual. You can just tap on that to bring you to your profile. And there are a number of different things I'm going to show you how you can do in your profile. This is my user handle. I gave it my name. If I tap on that, this is where I can edit my profile. So you can always edit your profile at any time. I'm just going to tap on edit profile. This is where you can add a bio, and this is where you can put as much or as little information as you wish. If you're using Twitter to really promote your business or your brand, or, as I said, maybe you're a reporter or an influencer, this is where you're going to want to beef up. You have a limited number of characters. You can put more information about yourself. I'm just going to tap on cancel. Let me tap on edit profile again. You can add a website. You can add your location. I've just kept everything. I'm going to tap cancel everything, pretty much clean. But again, how are you going to use Twitter? Why are you using it? You may want to beef up your profile. And I can always either tap on my home button to get back to that first screen. I can always tap on my back button if you're trying to figure out how to navigate. And when you first bring up Twitter, and I'll admit, it can be a little confusing in the beginning when you are scrolling through your feed. And I've set up a few topics that I'm interested in, which is why I see topics that are different from you. And I'm going to show you how you can customize Twitter so that it shows you very specific topics in your feed. Now, this is my home screen. I'm using my finger. I'm just scrolling up through my tweets. And this one is about cycling. I've set up Twitter so that it shows me information about cycling. There's tech news that I've asked to be put in my feed. I'm interested in the Nobel Prize. So this is what tweets look like. And I'll show you how you can interact with these tweets. But this is what it's looking like. Some of the tweets have images, some may have videos, some have links. You'll also see most of the tweets have something called hashtags. We'll talk a little bit about that. And this is what it looks like when you're in what's called your feed. Okay. And also, as you scroll down your feed, you may see ads. That's one of the ways that Twitter makes money. It's through ads. Let me see if I can, I want to keep scrolling down. Who to follow. in the middle of your feed, sometimes depending upon what you've been reading, what you've been getting, you'll have these suggestions to people to follow. And you'll see, Christine, this is this woman called, I can't remember what Hannah's last name is. She's with Career Sherpa. This is she's a career coach. So there are a number of career coaches also who post on Twitter. So I just wanted to get you comfortable, as you look through your Twitter feed, it's like, well, what am I seeing? Some of these are, really small, is like a sentence. You have up to whatever, 200 whatever characters. A lot of them have images. So the one thing that I wanted to point out is you have two different views in Twitter. One is called your home view. And if I tap on the little icon in the upper right-hand corner, it looks like a star, a bunch of stars. If you tap on that, what it allows you to do is change your view. So you can either switch to the latest tweets, which is more sequential view. What's the latest tweet that's come in? Or I'm on the home view, where Twitter uses an algorithm to say, well, I think you might want to see this, and we think you might want to see that. So if I just tap on switch to the latest tweets, I'm now in this latest tweets view. And anytime a new tweet comes in, it will put it at the very top of this feed. And so again, I can just get set up. I actually follow GetSetUp. I'm going to show you how to follow people. And this is more, who to follow. That's the suggesting. And this is, how you can switch back and forth. There's Deb Livingston with our GetSetUp. You can simply just change that view by tapping on the little stars. It just, how do you like to see your tweets? The very last, the most recent ones up top, or do you want that home view where Twitter will kind of determine like the order that they show you things in? So this is just getting us started, opening up the app, what's on the home screen, how do you view tweets, and I will be showing you how you can interact with tweets, because I know that's a question that you have. So we talked about, this is called some people call it the feed. This is your timeline as you start scrolling through. This is the Twitter timeline. And you have the ability to customize what you see in your timeline. And I'm going to go through that next. So the tweets that you see in your timeline, these are tweets you're seeing because you followed people. Some of these are the suggested tweets. You may see some promotions, and I can show you how you can say this promotion isn't useful to me, but you're going to see them anyway in your timeline. Advertisements in general. Some people do what I call retweet. It's kind of like reposting something on Facebook or some of the other social media. Those are some of the tweets you may see if anyone has reposted something. And then the tweets you'll see here can be based on topics that you're following. I'm going to show you that as well. So these are the types of tweets that will be displayed in your timeline when you're on the app, just so that you have an idea of why are these showing up here. Oops, we talked about changing the timeline view simply by tapping on the little star. You can switch between home and the latest tweets. Let's talk a little bit about customizing your timeline content. So I'm going to, let me bring up my annotate, do my drawing tool. Down at the bottom of my screen, and again, I'm using the Twitter app on my phone. Down on the bottom, I'm going to tap on the little magnifying icon there, and you have access to this no matter where you are in your Twitter app whenever you tap on the magnifying, that magnifier, it allows you to search for a person, a place, a thing, a team, a company, a movement, a topic. What are you interested in? So just for example, I'm going to tap in, oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe what's summer concerts now? I want to type out something. Does anybody have anything they want me to search on? Let me throw it out to the class. Anybody
How about the
have something?
finding jobs?
Finding jobs. Oh yeah, let's do this. We'll type out finding jobs. Let's see what happens. Finding jobs. So finding jobs for Jamaicans. So these are very, broad. So we can say just finding jobs. We can say finding jobs, job.
The financial industry?
Yeah, job. How about job openings? Financial industry.
Vicki, someone would
Yeah.
have had to post a tweet with the hashtag finding jobs for you to find them. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I want to see if there's anything interesting here. Ramp, corporate end and spend management.
Can you just put words in like job, well, you did jobs opening, finding, just a whole list of words.
Or you know what?
can.
How about say finding jobs at Goldman Sachs? This way we'll
All right,
narrow
let's
it
do
down.
this. Yeah.
EA jobs at Goldman Sachs.
At Goldman Sachs. Gildman. I got to type though. It helps. Oh, fun.
The first word is funf, I think.
Find fat fingers jobs. I'll just say Goldman Sachs. Let's see what it does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I haven't personally used this, Christine, so it may be that we need to find a good hashtag. Let me try finding jobs again. Let's try this one more time.
You see, because I tried to do it myself, but I wasn't getting like the correct feedback, like now. So that's why I was wondering, what am I doing wrong?
Christine,
I guess it's like,
did you
I
check
was gonna say,
I'm sorry. Did
no,
you
I was
check?
gonna say, I guess it's like the library. You have to narrow it, to a specific thing.
Did you check LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, but somebody told me about Twitter, so I just wanted to, check it out.
Let me see. Yeah. There may be a certain better hashtag to work with. I haven't used this for job searching. Finding jobs.
Yeah, and I also don't know how
101.
to use the hashtag, so that's why I signed up for the class.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. Ag tech news. So I might have to experiment with this a little bit more. But thanks for bringing this up. So I think you can. And I think it's just we need to get better at searching. And you'll see we have some other searches here. If you're interested in, business startups, small businesses, are you interested in something like Medicare? You'll see that I've used the hashtag. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but I'm also following GetSetUp. So I'm going to type out, small businesses. And small animation, small business, well, there's smallbusiness.com. So if I was interested in following a particular website, I could then tap on follow right here. And now I would be following this website. How about if I'm just going to tap on my back button? Maybe there's a company, that I was interested in. You know, I'll just, Dove, I don't know. Dove Cameron, no, that's not what I wanted. The company Dove, you know, I could follow Dove because I like their products. I don't know, or maybe, you know, see what's happening. There's this detox your feed movement, changing beauty together. So different companies are doing different things. You can just tap on follow when you find someone. Is there a particular individual? I always like, I love typing out George, you know, George, you know, you can follow George if you're a Star Trek fan. You just use the search feature to search on a person. Is there a place? Is there a resort? Is there a monument? A team that you like to follow, a sports team? Is there a TV, like a news show that you like to follow? And people are constantly posting like all, you know, day long. So you can see what's happening, get the latest news, get the latest information.
Hashtags do not have spaces, is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
That is correct. And I'll show you some examples of hashtags. So,
And
this is, yeah, Judith.
I noticed that people change their hashtag depending on what they're posting about. Can you talk about that at some point as well?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
sure. Because that's important too. So
Thanks.
this is how you can follow people. And it's really hard to see, but there's this little back arrow button. GetSetUp has a lot of postings too. So if I were to type GetSetUp, and I'm already following GetSetUp. So this is why you see following here. If you're not following a company, a person, a movement, it will just say follow, and you can tap on follow, and then you are now following. In this case, I'm following GetSetUp. Anytime someone posts something from GetSetUp, I will see it in my timeline because I am following them. And here's a perfect example. Let's talk a little bit about hashtags since we're here. You'll see that there are a number of different hashtags. So it starts with a hashtag is nothing more than a label. It's a way to help categorize your tweets if you're going to be someone who is posting, for example. And you'll find when you're posting tweets, you know, if you can put a number of different hashtags in, a number of different labels, it will help others find your tweets and maybe even follow you. So you'll see in this particular tweet, they've added, you know, # community, # or hashtag. We know it is the #. It's now called hashtag, that symbol. Over 50, seniors, aging well. These are all individual hashtags. They start with that little # symbol, and then without any spaces, you know, you can combine multiple words like older adults. You just squish them all together. And that is that's considered a hashtag. You can have many hashtags within a tweet. And so if I were to go back and just tap on the little magnifying glass, then when I'm searching, I could search on something like, let's do, I'm going to put hashtag, let's go back and type out older adults. Just like that, older fun. I can't, I'm like, this is the worst today, older adults.
Oops.
Just like that. And so these are the different people who are posting about this hashtag. And you'll see, my screen's a mess here. You'll see this one has the hashtag older adults. What else do I have? And you'll see why everybody has older adults as a hashtag. So that's why it's coming up in this search. And then as I'm finding things, what if you found something in, you're like, oh, elder care locator. This is something that's important to me. Well, how can you start interacting with this? So I showed you one way of specifying how you can start customizing what you see in your Twitter timeline, searching for a specific person, place, thing, movement, company, and then you can follow them. You can search on a hashtag. And how would you then interact? How would you be able to find more information? So when you see a tweet in your timeline, if you don't see the follow button right next to them, you will see a button that has 3 little horizontal dots. And they're teeny, I know. It's like I'm even wearing my glasses. So if I tap on those 3 horizontal dots next to a tweet, I have another menu that comes up. I can select this tweet's not helpful. It's another way of telling Twitter, I don't want to see stuff like this. I can actually follow this individual who has been posting these tweets. You may want to do that. Then this is where we were talking about how do you block an individual. So you have 2 choices here. If you're receiving tweets and you don't want someone accessing you, following you, you can block someone. And then when you're blocking someone, they can't even access you. They can't contact you on Twitter. Muting just means that you haven't blocked them, but you're not going to see their tweets show up in your timeline. So there's mute, there's block. And if you find a tweet that is particularly offensive or alarming, you can report it. So these are some of the ways that you can control what you see in your timeline. And again, let me just go back. I'm going to tap anywhere off of this menu. And I started by searching on a hashtag in my search bar, my search screen. When I find something, it's like, oh, dementia friendly. This looks like an interesting post. I'd like to learn more. Tapping on the 3 dots next to a post brings up the menu. And then if I were to tap on this follow, I am now following this person. And I will receive anytime they post something about dementia, I'll be able to see it in my timeline. And very often when you'll see that there are some additional websites that people will put into a post. So this is another way that you can customize what you see in your timeline by following people, following companies.
Vicki,
Yeah.
I apologize. Someone came to pick something up.
Bother you?
But what are the maximum number of characters that you can have in a hashtag?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know the answer. I'll find out for you. Mesh characters in hashtag.
I imagine you wouldn't
sure.
want that many, but still it would be good to know.
Well, yeah. And Judith, you bring up a good point. When we're talking about creating hashtags, and I'll show you how you create your hashtag when we're posting something. You're right. You don't want it to be a sentence because people aren't when they're searching on hashtags, they're not going to not going to type out a sentence. So make it specific, make it as short as possible. Some people like to capitalize the first letter of each word in the hashtag. Some people don't care. So this is how.
Is it sensitive to that?
No, it's not.
Okay.
This is just visual only.
And I have another question. I'm looking at your Wall Street Journal, and it is there are spaces. So I presume they used underscore.
Yes, and so can you? I think you can. Yeah, you can use an underscore too. This is a link over here. That's what you're seeing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was another way. And just so that you know, the reason why I have this here is you can go to someone's website. You can go Wall Street Journal, just an example. Go to the Wall Street Journal website. And then if you always scroll down to the very bottom of the homepage of a website, you'll see that they always show, they have the icons for the social media apps that they're on. And all you need to do is click or tap on, in this case, it's the little Tweety bird. When you tap on that, it then will follow them. That's how another way you can follow someone. You simply, from a browser window, go to their website, click or tap on the social media icon, and they'll automatically be added to your feed. So that's another way of following someone. So let's get back to our tweet. So Co, this is going to answer your question. When you find, when you have a tweet in your timeline, anywhere you find it, you'll notice that down at the bottom here of the tweet, there are some symbols. And this is one of the ways that you can interact with a tweet. And when you interact with a tweet, it's another way of telling Twitter, I really like this type, this person, I like this type of tweet. It kind of helps with their algorithm. So I wanted to just mention those they're always down at the bottom. But if you tap, did you see what I did there? I just tapped on the tweet. If you tap on a tweet, it opens up the tweet into this other screen. And then if I scroll down, I should see the comments. Let me just see something. Hang on. Here's my, did I want tweets and replies? They've changed this a little bit. Let's see if I can find it. I think people have, I don't want to follow this. Let me go back. Let me try something else. Hang on one moment. I'm just going to go back to my home page. I just want to see if it's any different here. If I tap on something.
Yeah, Vicky, you're right. Because before I used to be able to click on it and then you could see all the comments that people posted. But now I don't see that either because I tried that yesterday.
Okay, one retweet, one like. Let's try something else. Give me a second here. Let's try, I'm following. Give me a sec. GetSetUp. Mark Miller. Okay, let me see what's happening here. So interesting. Where are my comments? You can see the comments here. I'm trying to find something that I think will be, oh heck, give me a sec for a GetSetUp. Is anybody commenting on a GetSetUp? Do we have replies, retweeted? Yeah, they've recently, it's so funny because they've just changed this. Yeah, Christine, you're finding the same thing, huh?
Yes, I can only see like that, like I have Scott McFarlane because I'm looking on my iPhone now. And I see all his comments, but I want to see what people responded to his.
And you should be able to. Let me see. Can I? No, that's just responding. Let's see. Give me 1 minute. GetSetUp. I want to see if I have something else. No, this is an ad. I have a lot of GetSetUp, President Biden. Maybe can I tap on his tweet? Likes, retweets.
It'd be a good one to try.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Not every tweet has comments. So let me go back. This one does. So this is the way that you'll do it. You'll tap on the tweet. And when you tap on the tweet, what you can do
Anywhere
is
on the
just
tweet?
anywhere on the tweet. And then you'll see the original tweet. And I'm scrolling down just a little bit. And it'll give you information about how many retweets. So it has 18.2 thousand retweets, which means people have reposted this. It has, people have 1,784 quoted tweets, which meant that people have used this, have quoted this tweet. And then we have 154,000 likes. Now, as I keep taking my finger, I'm just scrolling down. This is where you can see any comments or replies. Not all tweets may have comments. As you can see, I was tapping on other tweets, no comments. So this is where you can start seeing what other people have commented, what their comments are. Can you see what I'm doing here? Do you see like where the people's comments are?
Yes, I see.
Okay. And then, so this is how you can see what other people have commented are. And again, I happen to get lucky, and this one, I follow Joe Biden. So this one happens to have lots of tweets and lots of replies. Also, you'll see where I've just sort of drawn a square around these icons. And even in your main feed, you don't have to tap on a tweet to open it to get to this. These are always available for any tweet in your feed. And this is a way of interacting with a particular post. So if you wanted to comment on this yourself, you could tap on that little comment icon. Just tap on it, and then you can start replying, typing out your reply. You'll have, 270 characters, you can type. You also have the option to add an image. These are all of these, what I've just drawn a square around. If you tap on any of these, you can add an image. I don't have I'm just going to tap cancel. These are trying to access my photos, and I just didn't allow Twitter to access my my camera roll. So I'm going to tap on cancel. You can tap on a GIF and add it. There are polls you can add. This allows you to pin your where your location is. It'll just show a map. And what's interesting is as you start typing, if you want to know how much space you have left, how many characters you have left when you're typing a tweet, this little circle over here, as you start typing, and I'll just do like this. I want to just show you, this is garbage here. I don't know if you can see it, but the circle starts to get filled up. And when the circle is filled up with that blue color, that tells you that you've hit your limit. And so I'm just going to tap cancel here because I'm not going to send this. And so that's how you can comment on a tweet. This icon where it has the multiple arrows, this allows you to retweet something. So for those of you who are Facebook users, if you come across a post and you want to share it with others, it's the same idea. When you come across a tweet and you tap on this, you might want to retweet it so you can get it out to more folks, maybe people who are following you, they will get this tweet in their timeline. Or you
So
can
if-
simply quote the tweet. Yeah,
So
Judith.
if you, let's say you want to take a tweet and put it onto onto Facebook, I'm presuming you would use quote tweet on that for that, correct?
Yeah, let's type out quote tweet. No, you would have to
Vicky-
copy and paste it. Hold on, Christine. Judith,
Oh,
you won't be able to do that. So I don't know if you can see, this is where you can add a comment where, this is my post. What you're really doing is you're adding your comments above, just saying, I really feel strongly about what Biden is doing here. And then the rest of the tweet allows you to just show what Biden has been doing, what Biden's tweet was. So that's the difference. Judith, if you would need to copy and paste this tweet into your clipboard on your phone and then paste it into your other social media app. Does that make sense? I'm just going to tap cancel here.
Vicky, what I was going to say is you don't have to do that. If you go to the last, that arrow
Share.
thing, you see the
Yeah.
last one, share, then you click on Facebook and you do that because I've done
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah, so that's the other thing you can do. Judith, do you see that? I've circled it over here. And if there is a particular tweet that you would like to repost, you can share it by tapping on the up arrow symbol. And then you could, select, I don't have Facebook here, but whatever other social media you have, you could select it.
I think
from
you just
there.
click on share via, the one up
You
there.
can. Yeah,
and
you
then
can do that
Facebook
one.
comes up.
Yeah, right there. So, Judith, did that help you? Again, come on, come back. It's a little slow. I just tapped on my share icon. And then I haven't shared anything recently. So if it's not showing up down here at the bottom, your social media, not a problem. It just means I haven't shared anything via some of these other social media. So just tap on this share via again, and that will bring up all of the apps that you currently have loaded, social media apps on your device. So that's another great way of reposting, but what you're doing is you're reposting on another app. Retweeting literally just reposts this tweet on your Twitter. So anybody who's following you can see this as well. And, one of the things that I wanted to mention here is you can search for anything on Twitter. And simply by making a reply to someone's tweet, you can connect with them that way. And so it's very different than the other social media where you need to friend somebody in order to be able to communicate with them. This immediately connects you to anyone in the world. And so the last thing that I wanted to mention is you have a little heart over here. And when you tap on it, it's like you just liked it. And
Vicky,
so this
question.
is, yeah, sure.
How do you tell if you have a Twitter account, then how can you
Mhm.
tell how many people are following you? Can you, or you have a Twitter account, can you look and see how many people are
Yeah,
following
let me tap, let me see if I can tap on my profile. That's a really good question. Because I'm not that active on Twitter, when you tap on your profile, you can see how many people are following you. And I've kept this very low key because I use it for teaching purposes. So, I have other social media accounts. So
Yeah,
these are two people I'm following, sorry, and I have 0 followers. This was just, I purposely haven't have set this up. So it's really
Okay.
generic
Yeah.
for when
Yeah,
I
thank you.
teach. Okay.
Yeah, great.
Does that make you feel boring?
No,
Yeah.
I purposely have done this. I mean, if I wanted to, every once in a while, I'll post something like, oh, I'm teaching a GetSetUp, class on Twitter, something fun like that, which I'll show you. We'll do it right now. One other thing that I wanted to mention, since I'm on my profile tab, is topics. And this is another way that you can customize the content of your timeline. So I'm going to tap on topics. And you can certainly set this up when you're setting up your account. But if I'm just going to scroll down a little bit where it says suggested topics. And if there's something that's of interest to you, you can just tap on the plus sign, and then it will start adding tweets in your timeline, probably for things that have, that have hashtags like air travel. And there are algorithms that Twitter uses to try to figure out, when people are adding hashtags, which of these, I'm just scrolling to the left, which of these topics does it get pulled into? So you can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. You can go to more topics and just take your time. And, if you see something that's really interesting, tap on the plus sign. And if you're currently following something and you're like, this is just dumb, I don't want to do this anymore, you can tap on following and then just unfollow. So this is where you're going to customize even further what you're seeing in that timeline.
If you choose a very, like, let's say I do New York Times,
Mm-hmm.
And not a particular reporter, how does it handle that?
Let's see, let's take a search here. I'm going to search, let's do New York Times. So at New York Times, fake New York Times. These are all the different New York Times that it finds. And let me see if putting in a hashtag before will do anything. Come on. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's try hashtag. Whoopsie. I want to see if that does anything.
That's going to get you a lot of things in other.
Yeah. So it will, this is what it's going to bring up. New York Times LA. And you'll just need to, try and get more specific with your hashtag. So if there's something specific in the New York Times that you want, put that in there too. So one last thing I wanted to show you, because we're up on our hour, because we had so many great questions. I want to show you how you can, let me just tap on cancel. Let me get back. How do you create a tweet? How do you write a tweet? It's really simple. You tap on the plus symbol right there, that little plus sign. It used to have a little Tweety bird on it, but they changed it. So you tap on the plus sign, it brings you to this screen. It's the same screen that you see. And I was sitting on the older adults hashtag, older adults tweet. So that's why it came up with that. I could do any, I could type out anything. I could be, type out GetSetUp. I could do multiple tweets, multiple hashtags, my bad. GetSetUp, education, whatever I think applies to my tweet. I can put them at the beginning of my tweet. I can put them in the middle, in the end. And I can, teaching a great class on Twitter with GSU. Okay. And then when I'm ready to post it, I tap on tweet. Now remember, I can insert in my tweet an image, a video. I can put a poll in there if I wanted to. This allows me to insert audio if I just wanted to leave a talking, like an audio clip. I can do just about anything. And then when I'm ready to post it, I just tap on tweet. And I've now sent my tweet. And if you want to know where you can find them, I'm going to tap on the back button. And let's just get to home. I'm going to tap on my home button over here. If I tap on my profile, this is where's my profile? Tap on my profile. These are my tweets. I don't know. Oh, these are who to follow. These are some of the tweets I have. So whenever you tap on your profile, that's how you can see your tweets. So again, this was really a crash course in Twitter, just to cover the basics. What is it? What is your timeline? How can you find interesting, people to follow, companies, movements, newspapers, anything you can think of, search on it. Again, if you're going to be posting tweets, use hashtags in your tweets to help people find them. And I will be sending after class notes today. I know I have a couple of questions I have to get back to everybody on, but I wanted to thank you for your great questions, your great comments. Twitter really is very powerful, not only for finding information, but sharing information. So, give it a look, see what you think. And hopefully you've gotten a little bit more comfortable knowing what Twitter is about, even if you're not going to use it, what it's about and how other people use it. So let me stop sharing my screen with you. I'm glad I was able to join you today for this hour. Thanks again.